Hello. Today we're going to talk about data structures and we're going to talk about the map data structure, in particular hash maps and tree maps is the objects you can do. The map is the interface we're going to look at. So you might have seen this for some other slides and videos I've made. This is kind of the overlying idea of all the different data structures we have in Java. We most likely familiar with the entire collection class with the array lists. Depending on what else you've learned, you might be familiar with sets and queues. And then down here at the bottom, the separate type of data structure is a map. In particular, we're talking about a hash map and a tree map. Similar to a set, there is a hash set and there is a tree set. We're going to look at the same idea and we're going to see how sets and maps are kind of similar to each other. In a previous video, I've talked about sets. And if you recall, sets are is a list that does not contain duplicates. So with this one, if you're looking at the difference here real quick, on the left side, we see the list of a lot of different things, to-do list you need to have in one day. And highlighted in blue and red are things that are being repeated, whether you're working or you're taking a nap or whatever else you want. In a set, you see in the right side, in the right column, the set does not have duplicates. You can only have one of each thing. So just kind of remember that one. And then with a map, we'll see how sets kind of work into that. So with a map you have two objects that you can go into. We're going to have what's called a key and a value. A key is a set of entries, and each one has its own specific value for this. The way maps are extremely powerful, and they're a huge data structure to use when you need those things, when you have basically an input and an output. They're unlike an array or an array list, where when we try to store data into it, it's all ordered by number and by the index. So with an array or an array list, we always order everything. Each element has an index of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in essence, as a map, that key, that input would be the number, and the output would be the thing that gets stored into that index or that number. For a map, we now can make anything be my index, so to speak, which is the key, and the value goes with this. Why is this important? Well, this allows us to put two things that have a pair to go together. So this first example we see here, it's in football or in sports or anything, it's that we have a position and then we have a person playing that position. So somebody could be sitting in a chair, or we could have a student in this, or any sports, or somebody's responsibility. We could have president, vice president, and secretary, and then we have people doing this. So we simply ask, who is the president? And then that gets mapped to the thing. So in this case, the key somebody would ask for is, what position am I? Am I the center or the C? Am I the WR, which is the wide receiver, or the quarterbacks? And we say, okay, who is the quarterback? You use that key, and then you get that specific value. So then you would get Patrick Mahomes, or for the running back, you would get Damian Williams, or whatever. Some other examples going with this one are simple just pairings, keys and a value. So states, it would be the key, and capitals would be the value. So when you ask yourself, what is the capital of Idaho? Idaho is the key. You put in Idaho, it searches for the answer, and then it would get out and get Boise. If you search for Virginia, what is the capital of Virginia? The capital of Virginia is Richmond. So the key is you input the key, and then we find the associated value with that. And it's only paired things. We can't have two values or two keys. I'm going around with it here too. Oh, good old math. Here we go. Simple function. You have a quadratic function here, y equals x squared. So you have the input and then whatever its output is. So look at this. Use a map like it is a real function. Each input has exactly one output. That's the simple, most basic definition of a mathematical function. Same thing here. So again, -2 is the key or the input. The output is always 4. We can have multiple outputs because each individual key has its own output. And another example here, if you just want to put house numbers to the streets, you have different things for that one in case you just want to put in one number and see different streets go with this for this specific case. Now, we cannot have repeated values. So if you live anywhere, typically in an incorporated town or city, then most of the house numbers repeat. You have like 100, 101 or something like that. You'd have that on different streets. Here, you couldn't put it. You can only have one specific street that go with a number. So there is a limitation to this, kind of like a set. You can't have repeats for keys. Values can be anything you want. All right. And then other things we have here, if you actually get into coding, since that's what we're talking about, we have a specific reference, and then that gets referenced and goes to the specific object or the value of that. You can have multiple references go to one object, but just kind of think real simple. You have a reference or a variable, and then the object is what it actually gets and finds somewhere else. And that's the big idea to this map. Again, Big concept, you have a key and you have a that gets mapped to a value. That's why it's called a map. All right, so let's see this thing in action. And today, my example code, I'm going to be super lazy and just uncomment everything instead of typing it up to try to talk the big ideas for you. All right, with a map. A map is part of the collection class, so it's going to take these generic objects. Now we're going to have two things that get passed into this map. You're going to have the key, and then you have the value. Call it whatever you want to, student ID map, and it's going to be assigned to one of the two typical data types we have. It'll either be a hash map or a tree map. If you are familiar with sets, I discussed the difference between a hash set and a tree set. A hash set is something that is ordered by the hash value, and a tree map, or sorry, hash map is ordered by value, is ordered by its hash value, and then a tree map is sorted in order. That does a little extra algorithm for you. All right, so as we make these things, if you run it, I got a print line statement at the bottom. When you run this, it's creating the hash map is going to be empty, and a set or an array list, you typically would be the hard brackets. Here, we're just going to have the open curly braces just because you can have more things in there. As we input different people and place them into the hash map, we use the put method, and that's what puts things in there before we're using add. Here, we're going to use put and just put it in. And we're going to put in, we have a key and we have the value. So the key is the number, student ID number is what I'm looking at here, and then the name of the student would be the value for that. And you see this whole object, that's what it gets mapped out to. That's how you print out what this object is going to be for this thing. So 1483 gets to be the student. And then for each one afterwards, when we see each one put in, you go see 720, that goes for Divya. We got the next one, we're going to put the key and the value in. We have Davis, and we have different ones for this. So right now with this, whoops, forgot to run it. So numbers are not putting in there. If you see here, when we put in 64 as a key for Michael, it's not going to be actually numerical order because it's a hash map. It's using its hash code, however it comes up with those things. That's a different lesson, different time to understand about hashing. But these things just get put in. So for the simple way of understanding a hash map, just say gets put in randomly. You don't care about the order. It does this hash code thing to put it in there, but the values get put in. But each object in my map is a specific key and a value. This allows us to look up information faster. So instead of having an array list and then having to make an object that kept an object of a student object, so to speak, with a student ID number and a student name, here we don't need those when it's just two simple things. We can just make this map and it makes it work. All right, next part, the comment here. Each key can only have one value, and exactly in that case here. So if I try to change the value, so originally Davis, so the key 1242 gets mapped to Davis. Now we want to map that to Tycho. What's going to happen? We go ahead and put that in, and then we run it. We will see we don't get an error, but you notice here that originally we had Davis, and now that's now mapped to Tycho. So we can only have one independent key for whatever value you want. Now, if I were to change this up, if I said 1243, and also that is Davis, that will be fine. So we can have multiple values. We see Davis here at 1242, and here on the far right, we see Davis at 1243. So you can have the same value over and over again. We don't care. It's just the input or the key. That has to be unique. Or you can only have one of those things. That's what we got to remember for that. All right, next part here. So what we can find here, there's some parts of this thing because we have a map. A map has a whole bunch of keys and a whole bunch of values. The whole bunch of keys, we can get a set of those things and just deal with those to find out what we have. Think about literally holding on to a key ring. A key ring might have lots of keys. You might have a house key, a car key, again, key for your house, key for the driveway, key for, as a teacher, key for your classroom. You have different things on that one set of car keys, on that one keychain, key ring. So that's what we're going to have here. So in order to get that, we want to get the set of keys, or the key set is a method we call. And then we can print this thing out. And then how to find them. So given the key, then we need to print each thing. So we're going to tell the computer just to get it. They're just like we would from an array list, is get it, but instead of saying get 0, get 1, get 2, it's we're getting whatever that object thing is. We're getting that key, using that key to get the value. So when we go through this, I'm printing out what the key is, but then .getKey, that is going to give me the value. So and pass them in the parameter as a key and pass in that value. So we're going to use a simple for each loop to go through those and print out what each thing is. And that's instead of using the array list of going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, other things we can always check for. So we just want to know the contains method. That's what we're going to look for. And the benefit of using a hash map is that the contains, or the contains a key, or the contains a value, this contains thing, it's a quick instant lookup. We don't need to iterate through the entire set to find these. So as I look for the key 340, that's not in there, but 720 is. 720 was the ID, the key that got mapped to Divya. So you can always check to see if there's a key. The next two lines says, can we check for a value? So we can simply go through the set of values and to see if any of these names are listed in there, or whatever the values are. So you can always look for the literal key or the literal value to see if those things are in there, if they're contained in there somewhere. Computer looks it up. It doesn't need to iterate through. That's just how this whole hashing works, and it makes life a little bit easier for us. All right. The next example, so instead of using a hash map, I mentioned a tree map is what allows things to be sorted. So I'm using the exact same data, but in this case, we will see it just totally sorted out, no problem. If you recall, at the very beginning, 720, 64, 1242, these things are not in proper order. If you use the tree map object, that will take a little extra time, but it'll automatically sort the group of values for you by key, if you look at it. So you see those by key, and the numbers are going up in order, so we're happy with that. That's really the big idea for a map, is that you have this key and this value, and you search for them by using the get method, and you pass in whatever the key is to search for those things, or contains them, or to actually get it and manipulate it, do whatever. You can use a map for anything you want to. So does it have to be an integer and a string? No, it can be any object and any object. You could have a map of strings that gets paired to an array list of numbers or something. You can be as crazy, as big as you want to do this. So the last example down here at the very end is just using different objects to let you know that these things exist. So I'm going to make a map of string and color. So what is your favorite color? Just give somebody's name, find out what their favorite color is. And we're just going to make a hash map because we don't care about the order of it. We just want to be able to look these people up. So we just pass it in there by using the put method. We put in the key and we put in the value. So Tommy's favorite color is red, Shreya's favorite color is blue, and Ian, his favorite color also is red. That's totally fine because my keys do not repeat themselves. My keys are the names or the strings. And then as we print these out, we can, so I'll do the last one, we'll just print out all the colors. You'll see the toString is what gets printed out for that one. So the toString of the color object is just the RGB values. It's red or blue or whatever. We'll smile and nod for those things. So they get put in. And then if I want to find what Ian's favorite color is, all I have to do is call get and then pass in the key. So I pass in Ian, and that should tell us that red is the favorite color. That is the toString representation of the color red, because it's all red right there, 255, and 0 green and 0 blue for the RGB values. All right, so that, in about 13 or 14 minutes, is the summary in a nutshell of how to use the map object. The maps are powerful when you have two things that you just always want to pair up. You don't need to make parallel arrays, you don't need to make an array list, or you don't need to make a simple basic object and put that into an array list. So we can always just get it by whatever that first thing is. So good luck in trying to use these maps, hash maps and tree maps, for any sort of projects you might use.